Hello and many thanks for joining us on Ogtv News at this hour. I am Abeokuta. But first, the major highlights. Nigeria to spend over 16 trillion naira next year as President Muhammadu Buhari presents a appropriation bill to the National Assembly. Governor Abeokuta says his administration does not tamper with statutory allocation of local governments in Ogun State. NUJ re-elects national president. Tanzania-born novelist Abdulrazak wins this year's Nobel Prize for Literature. Justice is the constant and perpetual will to allot to every man his due.
And on business news, the federal government to raise $219 million from sales of power firms. These and more to come. I am Simiat Abaru.
Coming up on sport news, Central African Republic stunned Super Eagles in 2022 World Cup qualifiers. This and more sports stories when I return. My name is Moses or Jewumi. Stay with us.
And now to the rest of the news. Our 16.39 trillion naira budget of economic growth and sustainability has been proposed for expenditure by the federal government for its services in the 2022 fiscal year. President Buhari presented the appropriation bill before the joint session of the National Assembly. He described it as critical in his administration's effort at ensuring critical projects are completed, put to use, and improve the general living conditions of Nigerians.
Defense and internal security will continue to be our top priority. We remain firmly committed to the security of life, property, and investment nationwide. We will continue to ensure that our gallant men and women in the armed forces, police, and paramilitary units are properly equipped, enumerated, and well motivated.
In a related development, President Muhammadu Buhari has justified his quest for more financial borrowings, saying that the debt of the federal government was within sustainable limits. He said that the borrowings are tied to specific strategic projects. Buhari's justification of the borrowings was contained in his 2022 budget presentation speech before a joint session of the National Assembly. In recent times, the federal government had come under hard criticisms over its decision for more borrowings. The president, however, noted the concerns, saying projects for which the funds were secured could be publicly verified. Similarly, the president added that the deficit arising from the 16.39 trillion naira 2022 budget will be financed by new borrowings. Ogun State Governor Prince Abeokuta has reiterated that his administration will continue to support local government to fulfill its core mandate as a tier of government closer to the people for the socio-economic growth of the state. Governor Abeokuta stated this during a meeting with the chairman of the 20 local government areas in the state held at Okemoson, Abeokuta. Governor's office correspondent Yusuf Ganiu reports.
The meeting was part of steps to ensure that all tiers of government in the state work together for the common growth and development of the country. Addressing the local government chairman, Ogun State Governor Prince Abeokuta said the forum was meant basically to interface with them on how to ensure the local governments continue to fulfill their mandate as enshrined in the Constitution, not just to be a paying salary institution, as they were before he came on board. Governor Abeokuta, who debunked the rumor that the state government was in the habit of spending local government fund, said his administration had augmented local government fund at least 2 or 3 times.
At different points in time, at least 2 or 3 times at the minimum, we have had to augment your jack because the money from Abuja was not even enough to pay your salaries. And even after we did that, because we were resolved to ensure that you are sufficiently empowered, and for you to be the chief security officers of your local governments, for you to be seen to be as well, you also must be seen to be executing some projects. We now sat down and requested that you identify, or that they identify projects in each local government for execution. And those projects we again funded from here. Because like I said, we appreciate the fact that it can only better project this administration which belongs. So when I see and I hear one fake party that does not exist writing on the pages of newspapers that the Abeokuta administration has taken money from the local government to the tune of X billion and spent the money, you know, I refuse to even pay it any attention.
While encouraging all the chairmen to ensure harmonious working relationship among their people, especially the security agencies, traditional rulers, among others, Prince Abiodun also noted that the state government will soon launch OP MESA again to stamp out any security breaches across the length and breadth of the state.
We are the industrial hub of this nation, and this is our comparative advantage. We must ensure that we keep this state very peaceful, to continue to encourage investors to come here.
The State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Honorable Afolabi Afuakwe, appreciated the leadership of Governor Abiodun for his doggedness in bringing local government back on a sound footing.
And the only way we can sell this mantra of building our future agenda is to help empower local governments.
With the level of development witnessed in the space of 2.5 years in the state, the chairman passed a vote of confidence on the governor for his second term.
But we're genuinely convinced that the governor has done well, and this will continue. So we passed a vote of confidence in him for a second term.
The governor has revealed a lot of things for us that how he's going to assist the local governments to perform. So it's good.
It was thereafter emphasized that the Ishaya mantra of the current administration must be focused on towards ensuring good governance for the people of the Gateway States. Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
The Ogun State House of Assembly Committee on Public Accounts and Anti-Corruption has examined the financial records of the State Bureau of Electrical and Engineering Services with a call for the submission of supporting documents to clarify gray areas in their records between the year 2015 and 2019. Chairman of the committee, Honorable Musefiu Lamidi, issued the directive which the Director of Electrical Extension Services in the Borough, Engineer Sunday Adilakon, presented the records before the lawmakers at the Assembly Complex Okemoson, Abeokuta. Correspondent Kolawole Osho covered the exercise. Details of his report are presented in this package.
As part of the Ogun State House of Assembly statutory duties, the Committee on Public Accounts and Anti-Corruption, chaired by Honorable Musefiu Lamidi, continued to examine the financial records of ministries, departments, and agencies between 2015 and 2019, with the Bureau of Electrical and Engineering Services, BEES, next on the line. Honorable Lamidi and his committee members, during the exercise, cautioned the Bureau on the need to address and adjust as appropriate all errors pointed out by the lawmakers in the financial records, especially the misclassification of budget heads and wrong posting of income and expenditure. Director of the agency, Engineer Sunday Adilakon, promised to provide all details requested by the lawmakers. The lawmakers also considered the financial records of the Ogun State Television Ogtv between 2015 and 2019. Chairman of the committee, with other members, enjoined the corporation to always ensure proper classification and posting of revenue and expenditure of every financial record. In his presentation, the Assistant General Manager, Administration and Supply, Mr. Gbenga Shebiemo, on behalf of the Acting General Manager, Mr. Tunde Kazim, pledged that they will do all that is necessary for proper classification of budget heads. Mr. Shebiemo equally thanked members of the Assembly for the initiative, which resulted in the ongoing palliatives on Ogtv Ajebo Road.
We have seen your efforts and your intervention concerning the road leading to Ogtv, because the road is in a very bad state, but due to your interest in the affairs of our corporation, at least work has started now on the road, so we want to appreciate you for that, and we can please extend our appreciation to the Honorable Speaker, sir.
The committee also considered the financial records of the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, presented by Mr. Olusegun Olaotan, as well as the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, presented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Mr. Kola Fagbong.
The vision to make Ogun State the safest in the country is of paramount importance, which is realizable with the support of tactical and operational commanders as well as residents of the state. This was a statement of the newly posted Ogun State Commissioner of Police, CP Larry Sikiru Bankole, who was warmly received by officers and commanders of the State Command of the Nigerian Police, Ilewero, Abeokuta, following the retirement of the former State Commissioner of Police, CP Edward Awolowo Ajogun. Margaret Okunlola completes the story.
Welcomed to the command in Grand Style was the new helmsman of the Nigerian Police, Ogun State Command, CP Lanre Sikiru Bankole, following the retirement of the former Commissioner of Police, Ogun State Police Command, CP Edward Awolowo Ajogun, after 33 years in service. Speaking with journalists after meeting with men and officers of the command in his office, the new Commissioner of Police, CP Lanre Sikiru Bankole, spoke at length on his envisioned system of security for the state.
The good people of Ogun State Command should expect from the command a better quality service delivery in terms of security. We have a vision, and that vision is to make Ogun State the safest, or at least one of the safest states in the country in terms of security. There is already an operation order on ground to tackle the peculiar crisis.
CP Bankole called for the support of tactical and operational commanders as well as residents of the state to actualize and make the vision a reality.
I am inheriting a crop of seasoned officers, and in the course of time, I will be talking to the tactical and operational commanders as well as the men in order for them to key into the new focus on making the state safer and better. I will be calling on the police to partner with the Nigerian police and other security agencies to ensure that we have a better secured and peaceful state.
The new Commissioner of Police, Lanre Sikiru Bankole, a graduate of English language from the University of Lagos, hails from Lagos State. He joined the Nigeria Police as a cadet assistant superintendent of police in March 1990 and has since worked in various capacities in different parts of the country. With hard work, persistence, resilience, and integrity, he rose to become the Commissioner of Police, Ogun State Command. Margaret Okunlola, Ogtv News.
Justice Okon Abang of a federal high court in Abuja on Thursday convicted and sentenced the son of former chairman of the Pension Reform Task Force team, Faisal Maina, to 14 years imprisonment. Faisal, son of Abdurrashid Maina, was found guilty on 3 counts of money laundering filed against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The court held that the anti-graft agency successfully established that Faisal operated a fictitious bank account with the United Bank for Africa, through which his father, Maina, laundered the sum of 58.1 million naira. According to the court, the money, which was deposited into the account that was operated in the name of Alhaji Faisal Farm 2, was sequentially withdrawn by the defendant and his father between October 2013 and June 2019. Justice Abank said he was satisfied that the EFCC proved all the essential ingredients of the charge, stressing that FAISA reasonably ought to have known that inflows into the bank account formed proceeds of an unlawful act of corruption by his father, while the court sentenced the defendant to 5 years in counts 1 and 3 of the charge. He was sentenced to 14 years on count 2 of the charge. The court held that the charge would run concurrently starting from Thursday. The House of Representatives has approved a bill seeking to create a special welfare package for people living around airports across Nigeria due to the environmental impact of the flights on their lives. The Federal Airport Authority Act Amendment Bill 2021, which the House has passed for second reading, is to compensate residents around airports for what they suffer from the noise pollution and emission of the aircraft. It is titled A Bill for an Act to Amend the Federal Airports Authority Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to empower the authority to recognize the environmental challenges facing all the communities around Nigerian airports and therefore engage and involve the communities in their development plans and for related matters. Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano met with the President Buhari today at the Presidential Villa Abuja. The governor said he reported the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, to the President over the minister's pronouncement that the federal government might declare a state of emergency in Anambra to ensure that the November governorship election in the state takes place. After the meeting with Buhari, Obiano said the president does not want any kind of intimidation ahead of the poll. Still to come, Information Minister speaks at the 75th General Assembly of Bonn, calls on media outfits not to use their platforms for divisive messages. More news after this timeout. Welcome back. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has accused some broadcast media outfits of allowing Nigerians to use their platform to castigate President Muhammadu Buhari. Mohammed disclosed this on Thursday at the 75th General Assembly of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, born in Kano. He also lamented that broadcast media houses allowed some Nigerians to use their platforms to carry out divisive messages. Mohammed urged broadcast stations to ensure that their platforms are used to serve both public and national interests rather than the interests of a few naysayers and agents of destabilization. He said those preaching disunity, divisiveness, misinformation, and hate should not be allowed to use private and public broadcast stations to achieve their goals. A new chairman has been elected for the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, born. He is Mr. John Ugbe, the Chief Executive Officer of MultiChoice Nigeria. He defeated his close rival, Mr. Godfrey Ohabunwa of Multi-Mass Media. Mr. Ugbe scored 63 votes to beat his opponent, who scored 38 votes. An engineer by profession, Mr. Ugbe has been working with MultiChoice Nigeria for over 15 years. The election took place at the Assembly and 20th Annual General Meeting with the theme Broadcasting Between National Interest and Public Interest, held in Kano. Our correspondent, Tunde Kazim, reports that the Kano State Governor, Dr. Abubakar Omar Ganduje declared open the 75th General Assembly of BAN, which attracted participants from over 100 broadcast organizations across the country. The ongoing 7th Triennial Delegates Conference of the Nigerian Union of Journalists in Umuahia, Abia State has asked the federal government to ensure that additional strategies be adopted to address specific political, economic, and social challenges facing the nation and find solutions to them. This was the crux of contributions from delegates and policy formulators who joined in the deliberations at the conference. Bumi Adigun completes the story.
The 7th Triennial Delegates Conference of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, in Umuahia, Abia State, would afford the union an opportunity for self-appraisal with the aim of charting a new direction for the collective body of journalists in Nigeria, as well as the election of a new set of members of the Central Working Committee that would pilot the affairs of the union for the next 3 years. The conference has as its theme the role of the media in times of national renewal and in relation to issues as it affects the country and the journalism profession. From the 32 states of the Federation, delegates unanimously appreciated all security formations for going through this moment, as the media assured support through dishing out useful information that would aid their work.
Always ensure that due process is observed in the day-to-day administration of your union affairs, and let the welfare of your members be paramount in order to gain full cooperation and reduce acrimony.
I believe the federal government must declare state of emergency on insecurity in Nigeria, not political insecurity, not political state of emergency. There is insecurity all over the country.
When journalists were divided for 5 years, from 1980 to 85, it was in Enugu that we all reunited and formed a national union that is still standing to today. Therefore, this being the second delegates conference holding in the southeast since that after that time, we expect you to come out of this conference stronger, better, more united.
In the same way, we appeal to the federal government to support the ongoing drive for media stabilization fund to assist early, struggling media organizations in Nigeria.
Governor of Abia State, represented by the Commissioner for Works and Commissioner for Information, commended the union for standing up with the truth always and ensuring that the country is on the right path.
I am aware that after your decision to come to Abia State, that there were some who said that we are particularly challenged with security. For us in Abia State, we don't speak to issues as much as we present evidence. You have been in Abia, some of you for 2 weeks, some for 1 week, some for 2 days. You can now go out and testify.
From Abia State, Bumi Adigun reporting for Ogtv News.
Meanwhile, Chris Isigoso has been re-elected as the national president of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, unopposed by delegates at the 7th Triennial Conference in Umuahia, Abia State. His emergence followed the withdrawal from the election by the only opposing candidate, Comrade Yusuf Idris. The Ogun State Customary Court of Appeal has held its maiden edition of Conferment of Merit Award Ceremony 2021 with 11 categories of award and 13 awardees who were distinguished members of staff of the Customary Court of Appeal. The event held at the Ogun State Judiciary Complex Annex in Ishabo, Abeokuta had in attendance judges, lawyers, members of staff, and management of the State Customary Court. Elizabeth Esson reports.
It was a moment of recognition and appreciation as some distinguished members of staff of the Ogun State Customary Court of Appeal were conferred with awards of recognition for their outstanding performances in the year ending. The recognition and conferment on some of the members of staff, according to the chairman, Merit Award Ceremony Committee, Honorable Justice Adebisi Femi Segun, was to spur others to also be diligent and encourage the awardees to do more.
The Merit Award Ceremony is an occasion where we get the chance to publicly celebrate, appreciate, and reward the hard work and diligence of our staff.
The President of Ogun State Customary Court of Appeal, Honorable Justice Mobola Jojo, in a speech commended the awardees and encouraged them to be more productive in the new year.
The award we are receiving today is the dividend for your hard work and diligence in the last year. I implore you to keep up the good work and never rest on your cause.
Honorable Justice Abiodun Akinyemi and the former NBA chairman Adetunji Fada Erosan said the reward for hard work is more work.
Probably I would very much like to follow the example of my Lord Honorable Justice Akinyemi and just give the toast of the state judiciary. According to those who are not socially their work, and that is more important. Do you think that you are in one corner when nobody recognizes you, or someone is watching? If you are an artist, you don't have to struggle with those who are, up there. Do your work very well, because someone is watching, and the day will come when you will be recognized.
The maiden edition of the conferment of Merit Award Ceremony by the Customary Court of Appeal had 11 categories of award for 13 awardees. Mrs. Adefolake Abimbola, on behalf of awardees, appreciated the management of the State Customary Court of Appeal for recognizing their efforts, which will be intensified upon in the new year. The Ogun State Customary Court of Appeal exercises appellate and supervisory jurisdiction over decisions of customary courts in cases involving land held under customary law, marriages contracted under native law and custom, among others. Elizabeth Eso, Ogtv News.
Members of the National Association of Resident Doctors, Ogun State Chapter, have resumed to work after ending a 2-month-old strike embarked upon nationwide. Our reporter, Tiwalade Faison, was out to monitor their resumption. Her report.
The resident doctors went on strike to demand implementation of an agreement that was reached with the federal government, and to protest alleged non-payment of arrears of salaries and allowances to some of their members. Chairman of the association in Ogun State, Dr. Oluwabosoye Adebiyi, said there are hopes that the federal government would see to the matters and take necessary steps.
We want to strongly believe that this goodwill that we have extended to the government to do the needful and continue to serve the general populace will also be reciprocated in good light on their trust and based on their personality. We want to believe the government will not at this time renegade on their promises and do the needful before that 6 weeks.
Special advisor to the Ogun State Governor on Health, Dr. Kehinde Ololade, expressed happiness and gave assurance that the state government would act accordingly.
Yes, we are grateful to God that in the spirit of collective bargaining and in the spirit of togetherness and sacrifice and commitment to patriotism to the nation, the National Association of Resident Doctors are back to work. Various discussions at various levels and various forums to ensure that as much as possible the imbroglio and the crisis have been put to rest.
The doctors also sought the immediate release of their residency training fund and placement of their members in appropriate salary structure. Tiwalade Faison, Ogtv News.
The Ogun State government has restated its commitment to ensuring that enabling environment was created to discover the ability of disabled children. Speaking at the event marking this year's World Cerebral Palsy Day on Thursday in Abeokuta, wife of the Ogun State Governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, advised parents not to write off children with disability in order to reduce the increase of the children with such problem in the country. The wife of the governor was represented by the wife of a member of the State House of Assembly, Mrs. Olayinka Elemide, at the ceremony organized by the Physiotherapy Department, Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta. Adibola Oshomoji was there and now reports.
Cerebral palsy is a group of permanent movement disorders that appear in early childhood. To intensify the need for research through technology for brain development, the Physiotherapy Department, Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta, in conjunction with other non-governmental organizations, joined their counterparts across the world in celebrating this year's Cerebral Palsy Day. The vision for the celebration, according to the facilitators, is to ensure that children and adults with cerebral palsy have the same rights, access, and opportunities as anyone in the society.
We should be in tune with what is going on in the world in terms of research to help these babies. Ever before they are born, they are born, how do we help them with current technology, advancement in research, to see that they live a good life like other people.
It is to this end that adequate and talented care should be given to them, so as not to make them suffer for what they never thought about themselves. Remember, our God created every one of us in His own image, and all His children on our heart also. They are our God.
Wife of Ogun State Governor Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, represented by Dr. Olayinka Elemide, decried discrimination, oppression, violence, abuse of human rights, and brutality the children with cerebral palsy faces on daily basis.
Basically, there are many things to ensure that individuals with cerebral palsy have the same rights, opportunities, access, and resources that everyone else in our society enjoys.
Also speaking, Secretary to the State Government, Mr. Tokunbo Talabi, represented by SA to the Governor on Health, Dr. Tayo Lawal, urged parents who lack proper understanding of the condition not to be discouraged, but rather build skill in giving adequate care and attention to their children in such position.
There are medications and surgeries available to also correct, to make them have a useful life.
The theme for World Cerebral Palsy Day 2021, lifting the burden of care, calling on Nigerians to make their mark by embracing and accepting children with cerebral palsy. Adebola Oshomoji, Ogtv News.
More than 200 women from Obafemi, Owode, and Odeda local government areas have benefited from the non-interest loan from Olumide and Stephanie Aderinoku Foundation. Distributing the loan facilities, the Chief Executive Officer of the foundation, Olumide Aderinoku, said the essence of the program was to liberate women from financial bondage occasioned by high interest loans the women are forced to take. Matthew Shomi completes the report.
The women expressing their appreciation to their benefactor as they are being presented with the checks to partake in the first phase of the Olumide Stephanie Aderinoku Foundation loans for women. The Chief Executive Officer of the foundation, Olumide Aderinoku, admonished the beneficiaries to make good use of the facilities to create more wealth to be able to pay back and allow more people benefit from the program. Aderinoku promised that more will still come the way of the women and youths and encourage them to continue to hope for greater things even as they work to make their life better.
To help the market women in this Bomle Lanta matter. So by God's grace, in the next 2 years, I promise that at least 50% of it will have been eradicated loan. So I now urge them, like, they should try to pay back. If they pay back, this money we're giving them now will become maybe 200,000 next year, 500,000. You know, we can even go up to 10 million. So this is, we're doing about Femi Owode and Odeda. Now the next one, by end of the month, we're doing Ifo and Eweko. Then after, probably by December, we'll do Abeokuta North and Abeokuta South.
Special guest of honor at the occasion and chairman of Ogun State Police Community Relations Committee, Venerable Samson Pokpola, and others advised the people to reciprocate the good gesture by ensuring timely repayments of the loan.
A one-in-town opportunity for them to be able to bring themselves out of poverty. When you are given a loan like this that is interest-free without any conditions attached except for repayment, I think I want to advise them to use this money judiciously and make sure that this money is paid back in record time.
Good day that everybody has been expecting, that one person will come out and save our women from all the suffering that they have suffered from the borrowing money.
The beneficiaries praised the foundation for improving their financial ability and economic power by the way of the loan facilities.
What I was wondering about is philanthropic gesture, because his name is even vibrating in the entire center today because of what he's doing.
We really want to say thank you to him and God bless him, and more blessings from God to him. Amen.
This will no doubt go a long way in improving the business activities of the women as they go ahead to invest the loan in their businesses. Matthew Shomi, Ogtv News.
The FCT Police Command has debunked reports of an attack on Kuchibena community of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, by unknown gunmen. Reacting to the report, the FCT Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Josephine Ade, said a preliminary investigation by operatives of the command revealed that there was no such attack. In a statement issued and made available to journalists on Thursday by the PPRO, the FCT Police Commissioner CP Babaji Sunday urged residents of the community to stay calm, assuring them of adequate security for the protection of lives and property in the area. Meanwhile, the CP has called on media reporters and social media users to always verify their reports before making it public, especially ones capable of causing unnecessary fear and apprehension in the land. Business News segment is next after this timeout. Join us again.
You're welcome to the business segment of the news. The federal government has revealed that it has concluded plans to generate the sum of 90 billion naira from the sales of mostly government power assets under its National Integrated Power Project, NIPPS, to help part finance the 2022 budget. This is in confirmation of the unbundling and privatization of the power sector in order to establish a competitive and efficient market to attract investment, increase revenue, and provide a reliable and cost-efficient power supply. The federal government projection was disclosed by the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, in Abuja. Nigeria's solar power project will create 250,000 jobs, electrify 5 million homes, and give 25 million Nigerians access to clean electricity by 2023, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has assured. The Vice President made the disclosure in Abuja at the Seplat Energy Summit 2021. He said that the implementation of the project was underway with several sites commissioned and being executed by the private investor sector with support from the government of Nigeria in line with the government energy transition agenda. The Vice President called for pragmatic effort to change and expand the electricity sector infrastructure to allow for increased use of variable sources, system flexibility, and electrification of new services, mainly for transport. Fuel marketers have increased the price of automotive gas oil, also known as diesel, to 320 naira per litre as the further rise in global oil prices and naira depreciation pushed up the cost of importing fuel into the country. The price of diesel, which is not regulated by the government, has surged by over 40% so far this year from an average price of 225 naira per litre in January. Business owners have expressed fear that the spike in diesel price might force more businesses to sack employees amid rising energy costs. Diesel is mostly used by businesses, especially manufacturers, to power their generators amid a lack of reliable power supply from the national grid. Many vehicles transporting goods and people across the country also use diesel. And lastly, the Nigerian Communications Commission says that it is not disqualifying Nigerians from getting the subscriber identity model, adding that the age limit is in line with the constitutional provision. The Commission said this in a statement titled NCC Not Disqualifying Nigerians from Getting SIM and signed by NCC Director of Public Affairs Dr. Ikechukwu Adinde. NCC argues that the age limit proposed in its draft regulation was based on the Constitution, which makes 18 years the age of consent in the country. It added that acquiring a SIM required the subscriber to be of legal status involving a contract between service providers and subscribers. It added that the age limit proposal in the draft regulation was designed to protect minors, stating that the parents and guardians of those below the age of 18 could acquire SIMs on their behalf. And that's it on Business Report tonight. Back to Iyabo Abujola for more details of the news.